At 11:30 p.m., exactly 9 weeks ago, on August 29th, 2020, a new angel was welcomed into heaven. That angel was my grandmother, Carolina Domingo Machitar. That angel was my mama. As if this year has not been hard enough, hers was even more so. She was in and out of the hospital for months, had to live away from her home with my aunt so she could get 24/7 care, and due to the pandemic, had very limited visitors to see her. I myself was reluctant to visit her in fear of bringing any sort of virus her way, especially since I had been working, but that was not a big enough concern to stop her 8 out of 9 children from seeing her every other day. To them, seeing their mother and making sure she knew that they were there was more important than the stay-at-home mandate, and in all honesty, I wish I'd followed that same mindset at the time. As regretful as I am for my decisions during those months at the start of the pandemic, this speech is not about me. I'm here to tell you about the life that Mama had lived and how she had single-handedly held together my family. To most people on Earth, Mama was just another woman. To me and my family, she was the whole Earth. Mama was known to be quite a temperamental woman, but she still managed to find time to express her love for each person in our family and more. Coming from a family of roughly 42 members, 9 of which are her own children, Mama regarded her family as her one source of happiness. While she loved each of her children and grandchildren equally, I was the only daughter of her youngest son, so naturally, I was given a little bit of extra attention. Jokes aside, Mama took care of each of us grandchildren, but I was truly the one who was glued to her side as I grew up. If I were to give credit to anyone for the way that I live my life and the things that I value, I would give almost all of it to her. She taught me how to care for others. She instilled in me great values and faith. But most importantly, she showed me that it's okay to be messy and make mistakes, as long as I stay true to myself and do what is right. Like everyone in this world, she wasn't perfect. Mama was a very proud and stubborn woman, and she was not afraid to show it. But that was her thing. And after living through several decades of life, we just had to let her have it. At the end of the day, she was our mama. And that was all that mattered. Until a few weeks after her passing, I, along with the majority of my family, did not know of her life story before most of her children were born, and it was a difficult story to swallow. Mama was born in 1935, so at the time of her marriage, domestic abuse was not uncommon. My grandfather, Papa, was not a loyal man to Mama, and that was a simple fact that we all grew up with and never questioned. He had several other children, in between his 9 children with Mama, and we all regarded them as our aunts and uncles without a doubt. As much as we accepted this, Mama was never on the same level of acceptance, to which she had every right not to be. She kept her distance from Papa despite his many attempts to come back at her, and while we took it as her just being stubborn, it turns out there was a lot more to the story than less than a handful of people knew about. When her first 3 children were old enough, they experienced things that no other children should experience. I will not go into detail, but Mama refused to believe that Papa would not change, no matter what she had to go through. This story, as heart-wrenching as it was to hear, gave some explanation as to why she was the way she was by the time I was born. I would not wish to hear her story in detail as we did that night ever again, but it needed to be heard to understand and truly honor Mama's entire life. Each person, when they pass, leaves behind a legacy. Mama's legacy lies within each of her own children and grandchildren. We all have different memories and experiences with Mama as we grew up. Although she is no longer with us physically, she continues to live through the stories we tell each other. Some memories are happy, and some are less so, but they are memories nonetheless. Reliving my own memories, as well as hearing others, is very bittersweet. They make each of us smile, but they also make us miss her that much more. No matter all the fights that we've had, no matter all the moments where we've clashed heads, she will be remembered as the woman she was, and will always be in our hearts. Losing someone is painful. Millions of people have lost someone this year alone. Something to always remember, though, is that they are not gone forever. They live and breathe as much as they did in life as they do in our memories. Losing someone reminds us all to cherish those around us because we really will never know when we might ever see them again. I know that this pandemic is preventing many of us from seeing those we love, but take some time to give the people you love a call every now and then. Send them a text message or even a letter. Show them that they are still in your hearts and that you are thinking of them. One small interaction can make a big difference in yours and their lives. Do not hesitate. Go make that call.